How are you? I hope you're doing well. My name is Samantha and this is my mostly yarny podcast. And it's mostly knitting and crocheting. I do occasionally other things, one of which you will see today. It does say it's my first podcast. Some of you might be thinking, I recognise that lady. You might be right. What happened was I had a podcast before. I didn't have many episodes, maybe 5 or 6 episodes. And then I had a little break because I had a major life change. And when I went to go back to start podcasting again, YouTube just ate my videos. I don't know where they've gone. And of course, I didn't have them backed up because that would be useful. So we're starting again. I'm taking this as an opportunity to restart. I've been putting it off for ages. I wanted to start doing them again before Christmas. However, it was, I'm busy. Yeah, it's Christmas. I'm busy, I'm doing this. I want to make sure that my hair's done. My hair's clearly still not done, which is why I've got this on. These things are fantastic. They hide a multitude of sins. At the minute, they're hiding all my grey hairs. So, yeah, there was just excuses. And I thought, if I don't get on and get started, I'll never get it done. So, here we are. This might not be the same place that I podcast all the time. I'm currently recorded on my phone. I'll need to see how that turns out. Before I used to podcast from my desk, and I've got a camera attached to my PC, a streaming camera, so I might end up going back to that. We'll need to see what this turns out like. So yeah, as I said, I'm Samantha. I mostly crochet and knit. I do also sew. I needle felt. I quilt. I do a lot of cross stitching embroidery, but I'm going to try and stick to just the yarny stuff for this podcast. If anybody does want to see anything else, then I'm happy to do a little bit, but I'm going to try and keep this to yarny stuff. It's difficult to know what to show you though, because it's been such a long break, and because for a lot of people this is going to be the first time that you've seen it anyway. I don't know where to start. So I'll start with what I'm wearing. This is a scrap of something. It's just Tunisian simple stitch, back and forth until it was long enough to go around my head, and then I seamed it together. And it's great. It covers my ears, keeps me nice and warm. This loveliness is the Grassmarket Shawl, which that's the original there. And I got this from an issue of Simply Crochet. It's a Toft pattern, Kerry Lord, and it was in, the supplements you get in the backs of magazines. It was one of those. I don't actually buy physical. This was quite a while. This is March 2019. This came out. I don't actually buy physical books, magazines and things anymore because I just get everything on Readly. But you do. I don't know if it's the same everywhere, but in the UK, if you get Readly and there's a supplement with it that has a pattern, then you get the supplement as well. So you should be able to get that. It was, I think, in Simply Crochet. It doesn't say on here. But you can also access the pattern through Ravelry if that's something that you can use. I know some people can't, but it is on there. So you should be able to access it through Readly as well. And the yarn I use for it is, I can't remember the colourway, Sweet Shop maybe? It's an old one, obviously it was 2019. But this was from Burrow and Soar. And I think they changed the base since then, because it's a merino. It's a merino nylon, but it's not the softest. And I've had stuff from them since then and it's a lot softer, so I don't know if they've changed the base over the years. But it's nice, it's bright. It's a long, I'll get the other picture up for it, it's a long asymmetrical shawl. Woo! throw my tablet everywhere. There we go. So it's quite narrow, but it's quite nice. I like it. It's comfortable. And we need the woolies in this weather. It's been so cold. Like, this country's not equipped to deal with weather of any. If it's not dry, mediocre weather, Britain can't deal with it. We're not equipped to deal with it when it's too hot. It hit 40 degrees in the summertime, and we're all like, oh my god, it's so hot. My friend in South Africa is like, it's only 40, what are you complaining about? But there you go. So yeah, that's my Grassmarket Shawl and some scrappy Tunisian thing. Let's see, what else? My biggest thing that I've finished recently, and I've not even finished it how it's supposed to be. There was this blanket, which I'm sure many of you will recognise. This. Ooh, a little bit glare, sorry. This is the Peppermint Swirl blanket. It's by Yarnspirations, and it's made with Red Heart Soft. Now, I started knitting when I was a child. My gran taught me how to knit. And I didn't actually pick up crochet until I was pregnant with my middle son, he's going to be 11 in a couple of months. So when I got pregnant with him, I was looking up knitting patterns. I'd never even heard of crochet at this point. I didn't know anybody that crocheted. Still don't really, but I'd been looking up knitting patterns to make knitted things for my son, and I hadn't knitted for quite a few years at this point. And I saw this blanket and I thought, oh, that's lovely, that's really nice. And it's like, oh, it's crochet. What's crochet? Oh dear, don't know what that is. So that sent me down a little bit of a rabbit hole, and I learned to crochet, and I haven't stopped since. It's just so easy to pick up and do it. Like, when you're knitting, I always feel like I have to finish the row that I'm on. I don't like putting my knitting down in the middle of a row, unless it's in round, obviously, but I don't like putting my knitting down in the middle, and knitting takes a lot longer than crochet. So I do still knit. I knit quite a lot, but crochet is like my first love. It took over completely. So this was the blanket that made me learn to crochet. So again, you can get it on Ravelry. You'll be able to get it on the Yarnspirations website as well, which yeah, Red Heart United Kingdom and the Red Heart, I think that's the German website. So you should be able to get it on there easily enough if you can't use Ravelry. But you will see all these little circles are all individually made. So you make all these big circles, then you make all these little circles, and then you attach them all together. Like you border them all, and then you attach them all together by sewing them. So I had this stack of the circles, and I've just been. And it took me quite a few years to get started on it, because I didn't think that my crochet skills were quite there yet. But when I did eventually start, and I just did a little bit at a time, because it's a lot of circles. And I ended up with a stack of just like the big circles. I hadn't started on the smaller ones. And it's my oldest whip. And this year I thought, you know what? I've got the stack of circles there. I don't really fancy making all the rest of the circles and then sewing them all together. So what I did instead was got the circles, and this hasn't been blocked, so it's still a bit squiffy at the edges, but I just squared them off. I haven't sewed my ends in yet either, because I'm going to wait until after I've blocked it, but I just squared off the circles and then crocheted them into strips. And I can't see what I'm showing you right now, but I'm hoping it's a blanket. I've just realised you probably also couldn't hear that. Yeah, so I've just sewed, and I've ended up with quite a decent sized blanket off it. And it's nice, it's squishy. I'll show you the back. I think it looks really cool in the back as well. Because it's kind of like you only work each colour, like you do like a red round and then you do a white round. That's a little bit like mosaic crochet, but not really. But you're sort of crocheting over chains, which is how you get this at the back. And yeah, it's nice. I hadn't really used Red Heart Soft before because Red Heart for a long time you couldn't get in this country, and it's only really recently it's become readily available, because companies like Lovecrafts have gone international on Wool Warehouse, so you can get a lot more things that you couldn't get at the time. But I wanted to use all the called for stuff because I was making the blanket as it was. But I really like this one and I'm happy with how it turned out, and it's done. It's a nice size, it's squishy, and I like it. So I'm quite happy with that. Oh, let's put that over there. So let's see, what else have I been up to? Finished. The only other thing that I've finished recently that I have to hand is this little guy. Now, I'm sure if anybody has been around other crochet podcasts or on Instagram or anything, you'll have seen these. I've decided just to do one snowflake. I did make another one to put on the top and then I didn't like it. I think I'm going to put a little bell in there. So this is, it's a year-long crochet along from Passionate Crafter. It's the patterns are going to be free on our blog. I don't know if she's keeping them up the whole time or if it's just like the January one's available until the February one comes out. The February one comes out on the 5th. Yeah, the 5th. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. It's my first gnome that I've made. I have gonks all over the house. I really like them, but this is the first time I've actually made one. And I think he's cute. I like how he's come out. And this is just using Paintbox Aran. Can't remember the colourways, but it's all done using Paintbox Aran, which is acrylic. And he's come out quite big. He's a lot bigger than I thought he would be. But he's cute and I love him. He's adorable. Let's pop him on there. My dog keeps trying to eat him as well. So, the dog, oh dear. I got a puppy. My old dog, anybody that did watch my other podcasts might remember my little floofball, and we lost her last summer during the heat wave. She was old and she was poorly and she was just, yeah. So we lost her, and in order to make up for me losing her, my partner bought me a puppy. So I went from this really calm, placid, tiny little floofball to, if you've seen her on my Instagram, she's crazy. She's a nut job. She's a Staffy Lurcher cross, and she's just turned 10 months old at the beginning of no. Yeah, 10 months old at the beginning of January. So my nails, I've not even done my nails. And she's just crazy. She's got all like the crazy traits from both breeds. She's lovely though, she's a really nice dog. But she's just in her first season at the minute, so she's spending her time wearing a nappy. She's not impressed. She does not like the nappy. And she's in her bed at the minute, being very unhappy. Oh, she'll be fine. I can't leave her without one, so she has to wear it. She's getting used to it a bit now. Anyway, that was a complete tangent. Oh my god. So yes, all my cuddly things I have to keep away from the dog because she likes to just, she doesn't destroy them, but she likes to just take them off and put them in her bed, which I sell my stuff, so you know I need to keep it well away from the dog. So yeah, anything that she has had a hold of, I obviously don't sell it, and that gets donated to the children. which they are quite happy about. They enjoy getting on my... I've made so many plushies over December as well. I got the Pokemon crochet book, and I think I must have made about 6 or 7 things out of that over December. And yeah, it's pretty good. There's going to be the second one will be coming out soon. I should have grabbed it actually. Yeah, it's a good book. You need to know what you're doing, and or the instructions are a little sparse. But if you know what you're doing and you can make amigurumis, then it's good. It's a nice book. Right, what else do we have? Right, knitting. I think that's all the finished things that I'm going to show you today. So I don't know what to show you, so that's just like the latest things that I've finished. I've made some smaller things like fingerless gloves for the kids and whatever, but that's they're wearing them at the minute they're at school. Oh, right, this is still attached. This is the never-ending jumper. It's showing up quite grey here. So that's another thing, the lighting in this house is awful, but we shall persevere. It's showing up a little grey, it's a bit more blue than it's showing up for you. And it's just a V-neck raglan. I initially started making this for my 10-year-old, and then it promptly got put in a bag and forgotten about. In this bag. I made this ages ago for the boys for carrying around, because they used to be obsessed with the little cars, and so I just made them a bag to carry the little cars around in. It's got cowboy stuff in it. And I've just claimed it to put this jumper in. And yeah, so I started making it for him. It got put in a bag, got forgotten about, and then I found it again reasonably recently, because I've been looking at my whip list and this is on there. I need to get through these whips. So anyway, it's now been that long, it doesn't fit him, so it's getting made for my 8-year-old. So it's mostly finished. I just need to finish adding a little bit of length in it and then put the ribbon on the bottom and then sew in the sleeves. Sew in my ends, and that'll be done. So I'm going to get this finished today, hopefully. The yarn I've got for it, I don't even know what it is. It's just like this massive tatty ball of something. It feels like it could have a little bit of wool in it, but I don't know. It might be one of these like 20% wool blends. But I've still got loads. I'm going to have this left, and lots of little nuggets. So I don't know what I'm going to do with them. I need to weigh it and see. It's the sort of stuff that it's not really going to go with anything else that I've got. So I might just turn it into a cowl or something like that. See if I've maybe got enough for a scarf. If not, I might just turn it into a cowl. Because it's nice when it's knitted up. It's quite soft once it's knitted up, but it doesn't feel the softest in the ball. It's strange how I'm sitting feeling it and you can't see what I'm doing. It's weird how the texture changes. So yeah, there's that. That will hopefully be finished. I'm going to try and podcast weekly. We shall see. I need to get in the habit of it. So hopefully that'll be finished by next week. Well, I want to get it finished today because I've only got about that much to do, and it's DK weight, so it goes quite quickly, and it's just straight stockinette and then a bit of ribbon at the bottom, so it shouldn't take me too long. Yeah, talking of endless whips, I decided I was going to make some socks for my partner. So we've got some of this that's coming up backwards for you. It's red. It's just like Regia sock wool, 75/25. It's nice. It's sturdy. It's got a little bit of a. I don't know if you'll see it on the sock. They're just plain toe up I don't know if you can see the different colours. It's got like sort of brownish flecks through the green. I don't know if you can see that. But anyway, yeah, they're just 64 stitch stockinette, and it didn't really occur to me when because he's never had hand knit socks before. So I was like, oh, hand knit socks are amazing, they're so comfy, I'll make you some. Not realising when I'm offering to make him socks, he has massive feet. They're like bolts. So I'm going to be knitting on this for a while. But yeah, I need to pick them up again. I'm doing them on DPNs. I have been through many different types of sock knitting. And what I found is the 9-inch circulars, they just make my hands cramp up too much. I've made quite a few pairs of socks on them, but DPNs I think are my favourite, and these are the ones I use. Can you see the Knit Pro Symphonies? That's the needles that I use, like when I use the big needles as well. So I've got some DPNs for them, and they're my favourite. And this I got from Pickle Lily. I'll show you the or extra. Say that again without the needles in my mouth. On Etsy. Oh, I've closed it up. I've not even put the socks back inside. Hey dear. Right. Hey. And these are great. You just pop them in and it keeps your DPNs in. And I use quite short DPNs. I think they're only like 5-inch ones. But you pop them in there and it keeps them all together, keeps them safe. Because I am terrible for just putting DPNs down and then they disappear, never to be seen again. I'm also really bad for snapping them. But they are my favourite thing to use. Oh, it's quick. This is the other love of my life. This is Warcraft. World of Warcraft. I've had a little bit of a break from it over the last couple of weeks because I've been exhausted after Christmas. But I'm getting back into it again now. And this is tea. I drink tea and coffee. But today I'm having tea. It's strawberry, cucumber and aloe vera green tea, and it's really nice. It's not too I can't drink anything too citrusy or too floral, so that's quite nice. It's not like overly strong, it's just nice and refreshing. I think it'll be nice in the summer as well to have it cold. Tangents again. Terrible. Right. So let's see, we've done them, we've done them, we've done them. And I think the last wick that I have is I'm using Cascade Heritage, and this is a 75/25. It's so soft, it's lovely. The colour is 5614. Now, originally, I had bought I bought 4 skeins of this to use for something else, for a different top. However, even though this is supposed to be technically commercial, and they should have all come at the same time, they were different colours. The 2 of them came different colours from the other 2. So, yeah, I wasn't happy, so I'm just squishing it. It's so squishy, it's nice. So I wasn't very happy with that, so that left me with like 2 skeins of each thing. So, what we have now is a t-shirt, and I'm doing this as a test knit, so a bit scrunched up on the needles, so apologies. I don't have masses done, but we've done the neck, got a little notch neck on it, and we're working on the raglan. It's meant to be quite a sort of open, it's stockinette, but it's quite an open stockinette. It's meant to be like a summer tee. I shall show you a picture of what it's going to look like when it's finished. Possibly. Ah, there we go. See, it's, oh, sorry, glare. It's stockinette at the top, and then it goes down to, like, from about here down is ribbed. I don't know if you can, oh, there you go. Let me see it a bit better now. So you can see the rib, and on the sleeves as well, it's like, this is where you split for the sleeves anyway, and then it's just ribbed, so you get nice little puffy sleeves on it. And this is on Knit Companion. I use that for all my knitting and crochet patterns because I just mostly use PDFs now. I do still use magazines and things like that as well, but I use them on Readly, so I just use everything on my tablet. So this is still in the first ball. I need to get cracking with this. It's a nice pattern so far though, but it's a test. I didn't even say who I was doing it for. It's a test knit that I'm doing. Let's have a look. Test knit is for Lena Matheson. So I'm trying to get the stuff up without actually like showing you the pattern. Oh, there we go. That's the details for it. Like, it's coming up backwards. I'm so sorry. I'll put all the details for everything in the box down below. Anything I talk about, I'll put the details down below, because I see it would be a little frustrating. But if I put my camera the other way around on my phone, I can't see what I'm doing. So I don't know how to fix it. Suggestions? Anybody? And I think the only other sort of woolly thing I've been working on is I've started needle felting. I used to do it years ago, but I only made sort of tiny little things, and I was on AliExpress, which is dangerous, and have these little kits, and it's just, what I got is a grab bag of 5 different needle felting kits, and there's 3 different ones there, but the only one that I got in that was the fox. But all you get is the leaflet and the fluff. So that's the rest of the fluff for it. It comes like this. If you've never done needle felting before, it's so therapeutic. Great. So you get like, it's like roving, and I do mine. I've got this like block of foam stuff, and I just happen to already have needles. Now, I don't know if you'll be able to see, but you see the little barbs on the end here? From about here to here it gets skinny, and then from here down it's got all these little barbs on it. And you get different types of needles that have different types of barbs on them. And you get some spirally ones, and you get different shaped ones, and like triangles and stars and things like that. And they're all good for different things. Get back in there before I lose it. But you don't get the needles with these kits, which, you know, they're just little small cheap kits. And what you essentially do is you get your needle and you just poke it like that. just poke it all over, and then flip it over and do it on the other side, and eventually this becomes like entangled, and then I'm going to put the little picture on it. This is meant to be a coaster, however what I think I'm going to do is put a little hanger on it and hang it up somewhere. It's been a good introduction as well because the kids wanted to learn how to needle felt, so this has been a pretty good introduction for them, just to sit, because it's big enough that they can have their fingers nowhere near the needles, because the needles are very, very sharp. And my 10-year-old as well, he's like, it's quite relaxing this. Like, yeah, it is. It's nice. Alright, so that I think is all my things that I'm going to be showing today. My plans for this week is I'm going to finish the jumper for my small person. I am going to get through at least the rest of that ball on the electric tee. Electric squeeze. I keep calling it the electric tee, it's the electric squeeze. And I'm not sure what else. I need to see. What I do is I plan. My brain is terrible. My brain is so bad. I've got quite a lot of mental health issues. It's not issues, it's just the way my brain is. Issues makes it sound so bad, and it's not. It's just the way my brain works. Everybody's brain works differently. So I'll show you a blank page. So I have one of these planners, and I got this. I got this for, I think it was about £5 or something on Etsy, on Amazon. And it's just like a weekly planner with a little thing. And I've started using this in December of last year. So I've got this one, which is what I use for all my crafty stuff. And I've got this one for all my house stuff. And I know, like, she's a bit of an acquired taste, but the book is really good. So again, it's like just a weekly planner, and I use this one for all my household stuff, so I don't forget, because I forget everything. I've got one of these brains, I've got an oud brain, and as soon as, it's not an oud, they're not oud, but that's what I got started calling it mistakenly, and then it carries on. As soon as something's out my sight, I tend to forget that it exists, so I have to have things written down. I have to write everything down, because otherwise I forget. That's terrible. So along with that one, I also have Crochet Project Planner. These are my new ones for this year. So Crochet Project Planner, and this one has got to be able to keep track of everything. I've got a knitting one, which is pretty much more of the same. And I got both of these on Amazon, were maybe £3 or £4 each. I also got this just because it amused me. It looks like Salem, and this is just like a plain. So I might use that one for designing, because at the minute I'm using a big A4 one and it's a bit cumbersome. And then we have the master copy. This is my To-Do-Unicorn book, and since I started this in August 2019, and just every page is a month. See this, and I just keep track of all my whips for all my crafts. So that was December. I finished December with, I had 89 whips, but I'd finished 24 things. Currently in January, this is where we're at. So we are currently on 78 things, and I've finished 10, and I've finished 12. So I need to get this list down, because it's just getting to the point where it's ridiculous, and it's actually quite stressful, because I want to start new things, and then I feel like I can't start new things because I'm having to squeeze them into this tiny little space. But at the same time, I want to keep track of everything I'm doing. So, and I've got these half-done projects sitting around. It's a mixture of, I get bored with things, or maybe I'll get orders in for something and have to put it to one side, so because obviously my orders come first. Or like in December, I had a lot of gifts that I was making. Yeah, so that's my plans just for the year in general, are to get my whip list down. I know I won't get it like completely emptied, because I do have some quite long-term projects on there, which are like cross-stitch ones. I have some rather large cross-stitch projects on the go. But yeah, the plan is to get the whips down to a reasonable level. And also, last year I did a thing where I worked from stash. Unfortunately, for most of the year, I didn't really do much making. I've got like big chunks in the middle of the year where I didn't do anything, because I had a lot of personal stuff going on at the time, and I had to move house and things. And I'm only just starting to settle. I've been in this place for 6 months now, and I'm only just starting to get it sorted out. It's rented as well, so I can't really do much to it, which is irritating to say the least. So this year, the plan is to use from my stash and actually make a dent in it this year. Do a lot more designing. I used to do quite a lot of designing. So I'm just putting things back in I've got a big bag down here that I keep all my current whips in, so I don't lose them, or they don't get like hugged by the dog. Yeah, I used to do quite a lot of designing, and it's something that I'd like to get back into doing. So that's part of this year. Sorry, I just kicked you. Part of this year's plans are to do more designing, to do more podcasts, and to get my blog back up and running. I took that down quite a while ago because I just wasn't keeping up with it, just because of everything else that was going on. But I think I'm a lot more settled now, and everything's kind of getting there. It's going to be good. It's going to be a good year. I can feel it. Hopefully. And I think that's about it. What else? See, we're on 38 minutes, so I should probably stop talking. Yeah, I've not really done much else. I've been trying to read a bit more, audiobooks. If you have Audible, I highly, highly recommend, because when you have Audible, you get your 1 credit, your 3 credit, or whatever it is, whatever plan you're on a month, but they have a lot of free things as well. And I've been listening to Stephen Fry doing Secrets of the Edwardians. I previously listened to Secrets of the Victorians, and that was really good. And Secrets of the Edwardians is also excellent. Stephen Fry does such good narration for things, and they have other people coming in as well to do the different characters. But it's really good. I've been listening to that. I have issues with going outside on my own, so it's been helping me do the school run and things, because I no longer have a car, so I have to walk to school, which is probably better for my health, and it's probably better for the environment. However, I find it incredibly stressful. But the kids have got to go to school, there's nobody else to do it. So me and Stephen Fry have been doing the school run. Yeah, so it's good. I definitely recommend that. It's a good listen. The episodes aren't too long, and he gives you the type of history that you don't normally get in the books. And yeah, it's very, very enjoyable. And for actual physical book wise, I've been reading this, A Classical Education. I had stopped reading for a really long time, and I used to love reading, so I've started to pick it up again, and that's for this year. I've set myself a goal of reading one book a month. It's not going well so far, but I've started reading this, and it's all just in sort of little bite-sized chunks. I really enjoy classical history. I'm actually 2/3 of the way through a degree on classical history and creative writing, which I had to defer for 2 years, and I'm hoping to pick that back up again in October when the new year starts, and see how that goes from there. But in the meantime, I need to get my brain back into the reading, so I've picked this up, and again, it's just bite-sized chunks of information, so it's very easy to pick up and put down. Physical books, I don't buy novels. I read all my novels on my Kindle. The only physical books that I buy are pattern books or non-fiction of some sort. So yeah, I think that might be everything. Hopefully YouTube's not going to eat this one, and I'll be able to get it uploaded. And yeah, thanks if you've stuck around for this long. I know I've been waffling a little bit. Admittedly, I'm a bit nervous. I didn't know what I was going to be saying. I hope I've not waffled too much and not said too much and all the things that... I need to get my glasses tightened up. I keep falling down. So I know that's quite annoying. It's annoying for me. And I need to get to the optician and get them tightened up because I don't have any of the tiny little screwdrivers. I could just get some tiny little screwdrivers. That might be a better idea. So yeah, I think that's it. Hopefully I'll be back next week. Hopefully I will be back next week with a finished small person's jumper. Maybe. And yeah. Enjoy yourself with whatever you're doing. Have a good weekend. Have a good week. And I shall speak to you later.